This video is brought to you by OddsJam. They have the best tools out there for arbitrage betting, which is like betting both sides of a coin. It's going to come up heads or tails, so you win either way. Every sportsbook has different odds, and OddsJam tracks all these odds so that you know exactly what games to bet and how much to bet so that you will always come out on top completely stress-free by playing both sides. It's not betting so much as it is math. I'm already up over $1,200 after 10 days just using their calculator and doing exactly what it says, not having lost once despite placing hundreds of bets in that time frame. One of those was during the Eagles-Saints game, as I bet both sides on whether Rashid Shaheed would score a touchdown, and came away with a nice profit as a result. And there have been moments that I pounced on arbitrage odds like these, where you can turn a 20% to 30% profit completely stress-free. OddsJam's tool makes everything one click away, and there are hundreds of bets like that every single day based on the sports books available in your area. If you do exactly as they say, you will literally always come out ahead, just as I have. If you sign up now using my promo code JG9, not only do you get a 7-day free trial, and not only does it help the channel out a lot, but you get 25% off your first month. Link in the description. So sign up for OddsJam today, where the odds will be in your favor. September 21st, 2024. It's week 3 of the NFL season, and we've got a game on our hands down at the Superdome between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New Orleans Saints. To say that this is a big game for the main team in our story in the Eagles would be putting it lightly. Tensions are, how shall I say this, extremely high in the city of brotherly love. Not just after what happened last year, where the team completely collapsed down the stretch, but after what happened last week in that abysmal loss on Monday Night Football in front of a national television audience to the Atlanta Falcons, where the Eagles had the game basically won and choked in spectacular fashion thanks to some horribly aggressive and stupid coaching. This man right here, head coach Nick Sirianni, really can't afford to do something stupid here, especially considering the discourse right now around him and considering how hot his seat is. He really cannot screw up this game if he wants to quiet the critics. As you can probably tell based on this video, yeah, that did not happen. But before I talk about what exactly Nick Sirianni did that had the entire city of Philadelphia screaming their heads off, be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we post on the channel. We post every single day about the weird and the wacky history of the NFL, so if you like that sort of stuff, then this is the place for you. Thanks in advance for your support as we try and hit 70,000 subscribers. This has been a surprisingly low-scoring game thus far, as late in the second quarter, the Saints, having scored 40-plus points in each of their first 2 games, only have 3, as they find themselves up 3-0. Philadelphia has the ball facing 4th and 1, with about 14 seconds left at the 14-yard line. Well, even though this half hasn't exactly gone according to plan from an offensive perspective, this is a good chance to get some points. You'll only have time for one more play after this, even if you convert it. So you might as well just take the 3 points now, take them risk-free, and get into the half with a score tied, and...
This year. Oh, they got a little fake. It's Barkley out the back door, not gonna get it. Chase Young comes up with a stop.
Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something to look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something to look awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're going to take a look at the mind of Philadelphia Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni. I really shouldn't make fun of people for things they can't control. You only mock people for things that are completely within their control. But sicknesses that they can't control? I feel bad doing that. Because we're all allergic to something. I'm allergic to certain kinds of pollen. Some people are allergic to nuts. And Nick Sirianni is allergic to taking the points. I honestly have no idea what the thought process or the rationale was here. Because if you thought that Nick Sirianni's seat was hot before, yeah, it's on fire. It is literally on fire right now. Not even the fire burning in Sean Kingston's song Fire Burning was as hot as whatever the heck Sirianni's seat is at this very moment. So with that being said, let's take a look at why going for it on 4th and 1 in the red zone, down by 3 points, with 14 seconds left, is a really bad idea. Now, I want to make it very clear. In a nutshell, going for it on 4th and 1 is not an issue. If there were 30 seconds left, or if there was a minute left, or if there was any amount of time left that allowed you to actually get plays in after the fact, I wouldn't be criticizing the decision at all to go for it. I view it as if you can't trust your offensive line to win up front and can't trust your offense to get a yard, you don't deserve to win. However, there's two problems with this play that we need to talk about that truly make this a dumb decision. Because while a play on 4th and 1 usually isn't a dumb decision, this play, in this situation, absolutely is. We need to talk about the actual play call itself, and we need to talk about when this play was called. Because when you combine both of these elements, this was an absolutely inexcusable play that will be another black mark on Sirianni if and when he gets his pink slip in the next few months. Starting with the play call. You have the most automatic play in sports in the tush push. When you need a yard and you need to get a first down, you go with the tush push. It worked literally every single time you called it last week in that loss against the Atlanta Falcons. It worked 93% of the time in 2022 and 83% of the time in 2023. Basically, if you're lining up for the tush push and you need to get a yard, it's game over. You're getting the first down. And you're going to pass that up to call this? To call a run to the outside? You're passing up the first down to call a play where you can lose yards, and that is not automatic whatsoever? You have what is, generally speaking, a guaranteed first down. And you're going to take the mystery box, which could be anything, including a first down? How does that make sense? And maybe it'd be different if they didn't show that play on a film before, and no one was expecting a run to the outside in a tush-push formation. But you literally showed that play before. You called it last year against the Commanders. Teams have put that on film where they fake the tush-push and run it to the outside. It might have been a novel concept last year, but it's not so much a novel concept anymore. Teams are ready for it. It's like how the Wildcat was this novel concept in 2008 that no one had seen before. But in 2009, that look wasn't fooling anyone. Everyone now knows you can run to the outside from a tush-push formation. So the Saints were ready for it. They absolutely were ready for it. So calling a play that can lose you yards and not pick up a first down, when you have a play that is guaranteed to get you a first down and is guaranteed to not lose yards, seems really stupid. Especially when it's a run that basically has no chance of getting to the end zone. If it was a pass, different story, but a run? Come on. However, even if we pretend that this play call was genius and gets you the yard that you need, and even if this play was successful and got you the first down, guess what? There's only 10 seconds left, and you'll have to burn your time out. That means you've got time for one more play from 13 yards out to the end zone. And if you can't get that play, you're kicking the field goal anyways. Let's look at the best case scenario and worst case scenario of just taking the 3 points right away versus going for it on a 4th down in that spot. You're going to make the kick. We all know you're making the kick because it's a chip shot for one of the best kickers in Jake Elliott. The best case and the worst case are the same thing. You're going to the half tied and going in with the score all knotted up at 3 apiece. If you go for it, the best case scenario is that you get the first down, you convert, and then you score a touchdown on the very next play from 13 yards out, which is possible, but it's highly unlikely, especially because you have to figure that the Saints are going to have everyone back, knowing that this is the final play from scrimmage of the half, and especially since you can't get any yards after the catch because you can't go to the middle of the field because you have no timeouts left. The worst case scenario is that you don't get the first and you walk away empty-handed. The most likely scenario with a tush push is that, you guessed it, you're walking away with 3 points, which is exactly what it would have been before, just with more risk and extra steps for no reason. You passed up a chance at 3 points to get a chance at 3 points. Not sure I get the logic there. Maybe if you were at the 43-yard line and that extra yard made a difference, I get it. But in the NFL and in a dome and with Jake Elliott, obviously, there's no difference between a 31-yard kick and a 30-yard kick. Heck, even on bad high school football teams, there's no difference between a 31-yard kick and a 30-yard kick. So that explanation wouldn't add up at all. You know what this play is reminiscent of? This is the Broncos-Seahawks fake field goal from 2006 by Jason Elam all over again, which you can learn more about by clicking the card in the upper right corner. If you didn't see that dumb decision or forgot what happened, here's a brief refresher. The Broncos had fourth down with little time left in the first half, well within field goal range. They tried a fake field goal with Jason Elam to get the first down and catch the Seahawks off guard. The good news was that they got the first down. However, because of how little time was left in the half, it just meant that the next play the Broncos ran was, you guessed it, a field goal. So they passed up 3 points to get 3 points. Although at least that decision, as stupid as it was, and as dangerous as it was considering that Elam got hurt, got 3 points at the end of the day. And even though they passed up 3 points for 3 points, they still scored. The Eagles passed up 3 points for no points, which meant that the only play this play would have worked is if you successfully got 13 yards on the very next play and got into the end zone. Good luck with that. If the only way a play works is if you get 13 yards, and you do not need to get 13 yards at this juncture in the game, and the 13 yards has to go directly to the end zone, and if the risk is that you get nothing, then guess what? You probably shouldn't call that play. Burn it in the fire. Just a thought. And I don't know what it's going to take to hammer this point home to them that you've been watching this whole time in Nick Sirianni. I just don't. This is now back-to-back weeks that he's made a dumb decision where he got way too aggressive for no reason whatsoever and didn't properly weigh the best case and the worst case scenarios. Last week, he had that game won against the Atlanta Falcons and choked it away with a horrible play call on third down where he threw the ball and killed no time off the clock. You can learn more about that by clicking the card in the upper right corner. I think Sirianni sees the best case scenario and only the best case scenario without thinking about probability or other worst case scenarios. Last week, he saw the best case scenario and said, okay, if we get the first down, we win. Not realizing the very likely situation where not getting it means you lose, and not realizing that you're still going to win if you don't get it. And this week, he saw the best case scenario and said, okay, if we get this play to work, we take the lead. Not realizing the very likely situation where not getting the first down means you're behind, and not realizing that you're likely going to be tied even if you do get it. Nick Sirianni is like a 3-year-old who can't properly evaluate consequences and only sees what he wants and doesn't stop to think for 1 second about what happens if you don't get it. Although at least the 3-year-old has the excuse of not even having object permanence. What's Nick Sirianni's excuse? I'll tell you what, he has none, because he's a bad head coach. Sirianni said after the game that he called the play and made the decision, saying, "That's what I thought was best for the football team at that particular case. That was my decision. I did it. It didn't work, and I'll get better from it." But guess what? Time is running out for you to get better at it. You've had a while to get better at it, and you haven't. This is your 4th year, and your stupidity has cost the Eagles a few games already. And if you don't learn soon, it's going to cost them a few more. And it's going to cost you your job as well. And there were so many decisions that Nick Sirianni made during this game behind me right here that were the wrong one, that looked very questionable in hindsight and in foresight. I don't know how the Eagles won this game, because it was like the anti-Midas touch. Everything that Nick Sirianni did turned to crap. There was the decision to kick a 60-yard field goal for some reason, which ended up missing. There was the decision to bypass the points on a 53-yard field goal attempt and try to pick up a 4th and 3, which didn't work out, much like this 4th down we talked about in this video so far. How does Nick Sirianni keep doing this? Why is he so aggressive? When is he going to learn his lesson? How did Nick Sirianni even make a Super Bowl? I honestly have no clue. How did this guy make a Super Bowl? Because this guy has no idea what the heck he's doing. So what do we learn from all of this? If you have 2 options, and one option gives you a guaranteed chance at points, and the other option gives you the chance of no points, but will end up resulting in the same number of points if it's successful, then take the first option. Take the freaking first option. Take the option that has no risk and just gives you exactly what you need, no questions asked. There's being aggressive and there's being stupid. And this is being stupid. A 4th and 1 run by itself is not a bad play call. A 4th and 1 run to the outside when you have an automatic play, that's a bad call. A 4th down attempt late in the first half by itself is not a bad play call. A 4th down attempt late in the first half, we have no time to do anything after the fact? That's a bad play call. Do a tush push with 25 seconds left, and I'm not making this video. This play, though, when you combine those two elements, yeah, you can't escape the hot seat on this one, Nick. I don't care about the outcome of the game. You're not getting away with it. I don't care that you won this game. Your team won in spite of your decision-making today, and not because of it. Because when all these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Be sure to like and subscribe if you have not done so already, as it helps the channel out a lot. And check out my other channels, JG8 for the history of college football, JG7 for the history of baseball, and JG9 News, where we talk about all things happening in the NFL. Join me every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we'll play live NFL trivia for cash prizes. And make sure to join me live, as we're on stream just about every single day. And thanks to all our Patreon members and our YouTube members for helping out the channel. See how you become a member and show your support financially in the description down below.